What up guys, it's Dragon Ball for Life today and I'm back with another video. Now, yesterday I wrapped up each arc of GT and basically talked about all of them, but in this video I want to talk about GT as a whole and what I thought about it after rewatching it, because I hadn't watched it since, I finished Dragon Ball Z, which was years ago. I think it was like around like 8th grade is where I watched it. So rewatching it now in 2022, it is different. I got to gather more information. Also, like I said, those other reviews that I had for the other arcs, the thing about it is there was some information that I left out because I didn't want to make the videos too long, so I saved them up for specifically this one, and I want to talk more about it in these topics. Also, I do want to go over a couple of different, things that I want to talk about in this, little like questions that I have for you guys. So, one, I want to go through, is this better than Dragon Ball Super? 2, is it actually good? 3, is it better than I remembered? And 4, is it deserving of the hate? And should it get, and should it have been the, what's the thing called? The lead to, after Dragon Ball Z instead of Super. Now, first question I'm going to answer, was this better than I first remembered? Yeah, I will definitely say that. The first time I watched it, I was like, this is just complete trash. I hate it all. I don't like any of it. It's just boring, this and that. So I had a completely 100% negative view on GT. I think there was very, very small percentage of stuff that I liked about it. Rewatching it, there was a lot more stuff that I did like about it, and I thought it was a lot better. 2, do I think it is actually good? Personally, if I'm being honest, going through each arc and going through the majority of the show, no, I would not say that it is good. Even though I think it's better than when I first watched it, I do not still think it's good, because when I first watched it, like I said, I only thought a bit of it was good. So for me to go from, oh, it was better than what I thought, does not mean that it will be good, because my bar was already super low for it anyway. So for me giving it any appraisal would not still make it better. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think I did not really enjoy it, because most of the time when I was watching it, I was either bored, annoyed, or I just wanted to end and finish. I mean, the first arc alone was already, it was a pain in the ass, and that was like around like 20 episodes or something like that. I went through 22, 23 episodes of complete boredom. I just did not care. I know some people say that around episode 16 is where the show started getting better because of the whole fight with General Rildo, but I didn't give a crap about General Rildo or any of these other guys. Dr. Mew was a kind of a lame villain. It also sucks that 3 out of 4 of the arcs were pushed by this character, who is just, he's just a Dr. Gero ripoff, and he's just a lame-ass character. So yeah, the first arc was already a big disappointment for me, because the first arc was trash, and in a show, you need to start off strong in the beginning and in the end. Those are the 2 places where it really matters. Yes, in the middle it does matter to have a good, be good and strong and stuff, but usually people, when they try to remember a show, they think about the beginning of the show, when it first started, and when it ended. Not usually the middle parts that much. But yeah, the beginning was very, very weak for me, and the thing that sucked the most was over 20 episodes of it was trash, and I did not like it, and I just wanted to be done. The only reason I was watching it was to do this review, but I just could not care less for these episodes. It just annoyed me, and that sucks because this show only has 64 episodes. So that means like over one third of the show I did not like. Even of the other arcs I might have liked, that still makes 1/3, because this one took so much time of it. And then the baby arc, though it was better, and though it was the best arc in all of GT that I consider, still wasn't that great either. I did not like that arc that much either. Baby seemed like a generic villain. His plans and stuff were kind of lame. The whole, he's like, oh, the Saiyans did this and that, but then he was such a hypocrite, because he killed countless innocent people, killed his own people that he created, on planet. So it's like, he didn't give a shit, and it's like, why am I supposed to feel bad for him because his race got wiped out, when he's just doing the same thing and making piss poor excuses for it? So he was kind of lame. I do love the design of him. Some of his tax moves were cool, but yeah, for the most part, his reasoning and who he was kind of lame. I didn't really care about him too much. The arc stretched out too long too. It was good in some parts, but the ending part, they stretched out too long. They could have defeated him easily. Goku could have destroyed the Blutz wave machine and the tower, or he could have just destroyed his tail, which would have de-transformed him back to his other form, and he could have beat him that way. But no, he had to absorb the energy of all of his other family members and stuff to get stronger, to knock him down, then obliterate his tail when he could have done that before. It was just stupid writing. I just did not like it. Also, I'll get onto the writing after this, but yeah. And then the next arc, the Super 17 arc, just complete trash. Stupid idea, makes no sense. People all say they have great concepts but bad execution. This is not one of them. This is pure stupid idea and stupid execution. It was just dumb all around. I don't think anybody genuinely likes the Super 17 arc. It's just bad. It's trash. And then the Shadow Dragons arc was also pretty crappy for me. Majority of it was trash. I mean, majority of the Shadow Dragons were legit fodder. They were complete fodder. There were some crappy ass characters, and their powers were elemental based, which it's lame. Let's be honest. At this point, how powerful these characters are, they should not be having fights against characters who use the elements like wind or fire and stuff. Like, this is dumb. And when Sin Shenron came in, that's when it got more intense. I would say a little bit prior to that with Nova, but that fight at first was kind of lame because it was just Nova chasing after Goku and Goku running away like a little bitch. And then the Ice Shenron injecting himself into it is like, I don't really care about him. He was kind of a lame character. But even then, like, Sin Shenron's fight turning to Omega Shenron and stuff, it stretched out too long. They could have ended him with Gogeta. There's no need for them to deep transform and, you know, be stupid in their Gogeta form and play around for no reason. And then, you know, have them getting beaten up and Goku using the Spirit Bomb. I get it, you know, Spirit Bomb is an iconic move, but they didn't really need that. I just didn't care for it too much. So yeah, all these arcs were kind of piss poor, if I'm being honest. Even their best arc, the Baby arc, was not even that great. It had a lot of stuff that I didn't like. So majority of the show I didn't like. I would say 85% of the show I did not like, and the other 15% I thought was enjoyable. But this show is just a very big letdown. I do not think it's a good successor for Dragon Ball Z or Super. I'm not saying Super is a good successor. Also, let's talk about that. People think that just because I do not like GT, that means I would love Super. I think still Super and GT are equally bad, though I will say I get a little more enjoyment out of Super. When I watched Super, I was less bored. I was more invested. I was more entertained. The first time I watched it. I'm going to rewatch it again and do, you know, separate reviews on the arcs. But it was more entertaining, though it was more aggravating. But GT was just more boring. I think GT is the more boring show, where Dragon Ball Super is just the more aggravating show of how stupid it's written and how dumb it is. But yeah, I think both the shows are still equally as bad. I still don't like GT. I don't know why people say, oh, after rewatching GT it was actually good. No, it was not. It was bad. And I want to go to another aspect that I did not like about it. The fighting. The whole point of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, not the whole point, but the major reason people love it is the fighting. The action is a big part of, you know, Dragon Ball. It's an integral part. And if you do not have good fighting, then you basically lost the biggest part about, you know, what makes Dragon Ball good. And I think that's what was really missing with GT. Is if you look at the fights in GT, there's nothing memorable in any of the fights in GT. The fights throughout the first arc, there was barely any fights except for that one, you know, Hitman guy, which he was pretty cool, but the fight was really lame. Goku was overpowered him completely. General Rildo's fight was kind of ass. I mean, the guy just has a big drill hand and he turns into metal goop and stuff. I didn't find that entertaining. And then the baby fight, people might say it was a great arc, but what was interesting about the fighting itself, there was some cool moments with Super Saiyan 4 Goku doing his thing, but for the most part, it was not really that great. Super 17 arc, crappy fighting, except for when Goku punched him initially and launched him off, and then he's firing attacks. That was pretty cool. And then the fight against Omega Shenron, some parts were good, but majority of it was kind of trash. So yeah, the fights are very lackluster in GT. Even if you hate Super, you can go ahead and hate Super. But there's one thing you gotta admit: Super had far superior fighting and combat scenes compared to GT. GT had none. The choreography was very lame. It was very repetitive. And also the movesets that Goku used, Goku repeated completely. All he did was hit them with a couple punches and kicks, and then just use Kamehameha every time. The only other move I've seen him use besides Kamehameha was the Dragon Fist, which he only used twice, and the Spirit Bomb only in the end of the entire show, which is like, really? He has other moves that he uses. And yes, also he used Solar Flare a little bit. But I get it that Goku does use Kamehameha a lot in Z and in Super, but he uses it still quite sparingly, and he uses it in an interesting manner, and he still does different techniques and abilities. So it seems like he has more versatility in Super and Z with what he does, and it's more, you know, unique and flavorful, whereas in GT it's just the same moves, and the choreography is basic and baseline, and it's just like, to me, it's not entertaining. So it also takes a big hit when it comes to the combat, which I really did not enjoy. I can't remember anything memorable about the fighting scenes in GT. And then the writing itself, people keep on saying the stories were great, but the execution was bad. I also don't think the concepts were that great. The Black Star Dragon Balls is a dumb concept, and the whole scan around the Earth and the Earth is going to blow up and you have to keep it here. That was all dumb. The Baby arc, I would say that was actually a pretty good concept. That was an interesting concept to have that. Though, yes, definitely the execution was bad because he just didn't do anything from it. It was not like he was trying to get his payback for it. It was just at this point, it's like, oh, I'm going to be evil and I want to kill them. Which we see with every villain. Also, Baby was kind of a ripoff. I will admit that his story was kind of ripoff. Dr. Mew was already a ripoff of, Giro, and he was a ripoff of Cell and Boo. He had the goopy thing like Boo. He had the, thing like Cell when it comes to, being, engineered and stuff through different cells. And then he had Frieza's type thing where he has the hatred for the Saiyans and the backstory with them and stuff. So yeah, he was kind of an amalgamation of the previous villains in Z, which is kind of lame to me. It seems like they're reusing the old ideas. This is something I give Super a lot of shit for because I'm like, I don't like uncreative writing. Super does it far more and far worse, but GT is they're not free in this either. They're not like, it's not like they're not doing the same thing either. So yeah, I did not like that idea of that, but I do like the interesting thing. Though I'll say Dragon Ball Super is doing a lot far better of a job of doing it their own self because they're doing it too. They did it with the Granola arc, and yes, the Granola arc kind of transitioned more to Gas being the enemy and stuff. But I do like the Granola arc, and I think they handled Granola better than Baby. Baby and Granola have the same type of backstory. They have a past against the Saiyans. They hate the previous Saiyans. They got attacked. They wanted revenge and stuff. But Granola was far more interesting because, unlike Baby, who might seem like a sympathetic villain, he was just a generic villain because he was still doing all the generic stuff. Whereas Granola, you can see that he had hatred for the Saiyans and wanted to kill them. Even though Goku and Vegeta were good guys and they weren't evil, he wanted to kill them, and that would kind of make him a bad guy. But he wasn't really bad because he didn't show any malice towards anybody else. He didn't seem like he was vindictive or heartless, and he didn't care about anybody. He was just mad of what the Saiyans did to his planet, which made sense. So his motivation was more clear cut, and his actions were also more clear cut. He was not attacking anybody else. He also wanted to go after Frieza for the whole thing, which Baby's situation, it was different. The Saiyans did it without the Frieza thing, but he wanted Frieza too, and towards the end of this arc, even though it's not fully wrapped up, he forgave. He was willing to let go of his revenge against Gas and them, and not even kill him. Though I don't 100% agree with not killing Gas or doing something about it. I do see, at least it's interesting that he's willing to give up revenge, whereas Baby didn't really make any sound points. He just they pushed my people out of our homes, killed us all, and that was it. And he wasn't even actually a Tuffle. He had the DNAs of a Tuffle, but he wasn't from the race. He was just genetically engineered from them. It's like saying Cell is a Saiyan because he has a ton of Saiyan's DNA. But yeah, I just didn't care for that. The 17 arc, that concept was completely dumb. I already mentioned that. The Shadow Dragon arc, I can see why some people like the concept. I did not like it. I thought it was kind of dumb. And the execution was awful. It was so boring. I think besides the first arc, this was the second most boring arc in all of GT. So yeah, that wasn't really great. The writing wasn't really that great. The intensity of it wasn't really that great. There was some stuff they did good, which I enjoyed. One thing I really hated is the fact that they didn't give many other characters screen time. People complain about Z with putting the other side characters on the back burner, but at least they got something to do. Sorry for that, there's a car parking outside. For example, we barely saw Krillin. All we saw him was getting bitched out by his wife and then getting killed by 17. Android 18 basically barely did anything. Tien wasn't even shown except for a little glimpse with him and Chaozu. Yamcha didn't do anything. Master Roshi was shown in the beginning, but then after that he didn't really do anything. He was dressed like a fucking tween for some reason. Vegeta, a big character like Vegeta, was barely shown. Piccolo, he was, oh my god, they fucking did Piccolo the most dirty in this show. They barely used that guy. They trashed him more in this than they did in the Buu Saga. This guy, all the fuck he did was, he was in the first arc telling them, Trunks and Goten to go on the ship, and then they left without him and stuff, and he didn't go, and then he shows up in the 17 arc, gets his shows up in the baby arc, gets taken over, doesn't really do much anything. He gets completely bodied in the the 17 arc, and then shows up towards the ass end of the final arc, and he does some work, but he's obviously still underpowered. And also the whole Blitzwave machine, they completely butchered his character for many reasons. One, his design looked like ass. Giving the mustache was a stupid idea. The haircut, why the fuck did you do that? He has such an iconic hairdo. Then his clothes were ass. His personality, he seemed like a little bit like a little bitch kind of in this one. I mean, he cared about how his daughter thought of him and how he dressed. He tried to look cool and stuff, and he got mad when Bulma and Chi-Chi didn't realize he shaved his mustache. I'm like, this is not Vegeta. He doesn't give a fuck what other people think. That's what made Vegeta cool. He's a badass. He doesn't give a fuck about other people. And then him going to such a bitch like type of way of getting more power by using the Blitzwave machine to give him Super Saiyan 4. Vegeta would have never done that in Z. He would have never let himself be taken by something like that and not work for it. And even Super, people give Super shit, but Super Vegeta is far better written. He is the better amalgamation of toning down and become more family friendly and oriented and stuff, but also still being a badass, because Vegeta doesn't care. He's not changing up his style. He doesn't care what other people think about him. Still, he's trying to get stronger, and he's willing to go through other avenues he's never went through before, like simply getting trained by somebody else. But that's more reasonable. Getting a machine to give you a power boost is going too far. Asking somebody for help to train him, that seems like he's going out of his comfort zone and changing, but not too much to a drastic level. Even Goku wouldn't do that. Goku would be like, that's some bitch shit. Why would I use a machine to help me out? So the fact that Vegeta, somebody as hardcore as him about, pride and stuff, willing to throw his pride away like that, it's just lame. Most of the characters didn't get screen time. It was only really Goku. Pan got some screen time, but let's be honest, Pan was an annoying ass character. She had some good moments, but as a whole, she was just an unbearable character that you cannot like. She was just annoying. She was whining, crying. She was always getting herself in dangerous situations, saying, I can handle it, don't treat me like a kid. And then being in the situation, she's like, oh, I'm gonna die. The fuck? Then why do you keep on getting into it? You know you can't handle these situations, and you keep on putting yourself in dangerous spots where Goku has to save your ass. She was so fucking annoying. And you're giving her more of screen time than Vegeta? That shit pissed me off. So yeah, they screwed up. I can see why people called it Goku time, because it was mostly Goku getting stuff. Everybody else was completely underpowered. Vegeta was at Super Saiyan 2 level throughout the entire show until the ending, and he had to cheat to get power higher than that. At least in, in Super, they're trying to level up Vegeta. Vegeta got, he got Super Saiyan God too, and he also got, Super Saiyan Blue, and then he got, Super Saiyan Blue Evolved, and then his EU form now. They've been giving him shit. And yes, he's still losing, but he's at least getting further and stuff. That one, he did not do anything. If you're going to give Super shit for having Vegeta getting so bodied, give GT shit, because they bodied him way worse. They made him complete utter trash. GT made more shit than Super ever did or Z ever did. It's just completely a disgrace the way they treated Vegeta. So yeah, I do not like that either. The show, like I said, was mostly boring. I was bored out of my mind just waiting for it to end. And on top of it, it kind of made me a little depressed, because most of the characters got either super old, and most of them didn't do anything. Goku's the only one that had any relevancy in the show, and everybody else was so underpowered. I felt bad, because it's everybody else is just gonna get destroyed. Goku's the only one that they can count on, and it seems very hopeless when there's only one character you can count on throughout the entire thing. Let's talk about Super Saiyan 4. A lot of people love Super Saiyan 4. Personally, I'm not as big of a fan of the Super Saiyan 4 design. I can see why people like it. I think it's cool in a certain way, but I don't think it's the best the Super Saiyan transformation. I don't think it has the best design. I would have preferred them to have more of a golden fur and stuff. But even as a whole, there's some stuff that didn't make sense, which I'll go into. Just talking about the coloring stuff, it didn't make sense. Goku's fur is pinkish red, and his hair was black, but Vegeta's hair was brown, and his fur was completely red, which makes no sense. Why would his fur be different shade of red? Also, why is his hair brown? From what we learned is all the Saiyans have black hair. Yes, I know they showed Vegeta with brown hair first off, when they first introduced him. But Toriyama himself stated that it was incorrect, and they fixed it up. I mean, they did the same thing with his outfit. His outfit was ridiculous colors, and they changed up just to the blue and white. But yeah, they completely butchered butchered him. Maju. I'll finish the Super Saiyan 4 thing. So his one was different. He looked like a punk rock star when he transformed, which looked lame to me. Goku's looked better, but it didn't make sense. How do you go from, the other transformations, Super Saiyan 1, 2, and 3, Still, he stayed as a kid. Also, I don't think I've seen him go Super Saiyan 2. I only saw him go Super Saiyan 1 and 3 in his kid form. And once we go Super Saiyan 4, he turns into an adult. Makes no sense. Why does he turn into an adult by transforming? Like, what the hell? Why does transformation go into a grown man when he's a kid? Like, that made no sense. And I get it because they probably want to give the more grown adult Goku, because him fighting as a kid is ridiculous. But then don't make that concept. That fucking pisses me off. Why make that concept or stick with it, or you're just gonna convert him to an adult and make no sense? How the hell does him transform to Super Saiyan 4 make him an adult? Also, why does his clothes change? Because when he transformed, his shirt it's gone. It's not like it tears. Because when he retransforms, his clothes come back. So what the hell is this magical bullshit? Why is him going to his Super Saiyan 4 form doing that? I didn't get that. Also, the whole concept of using all the energy from its cells basically is just Super Saiyan 3, so it's just Super Saiyan 3's description again. Super Saiyan 4 didn't seem that interesting to me. It just seems like another ordinary Super Saiyan transformation. It didn't seem like that higher of a level of power, because the thing about Super Saiyan God is it showed you a clear-cut distinction between that and the regular Super Saiyan forms. Not only the design, but the what it was called, what the abilities was, and through the power itself. The sheer power alone, you can tell that this is a high level of power. Where Super Saiyan 4 just felt like an upgrade of an upgraded form, but nothing out of this world. So it seemed very low level. So Super Saiyan 4, I didn't hate, but I liked it. But there's a lot of concepts that were kind of dumb, especially though you turned from a golden ape somehow to this. How? Also bringing back Tails. I know people like that. I did not like it. I thought it was stupid that such a thing that's so old that they passed, they brought it back. I do not like bringing back completely old things and redoing it, unless it was in a more tasteful manner, like Kaioken on top of Super Saiyan Blue, because that made sense. But this one, it's just out of the ass. They pulled it out. And how did Elder Kai know that if he had his tail back, he could gain such power? Like, it was just dumb. So yeah, I did not like that either. And then going on to Majub, they misused this guy. He was the only other guy that was powerful. Goku was the most powerful, then it was Majub, until Vegeta came in the ending. But Majub, he was already, he was Kid Buu level in the beginning, and then he trained with Goku, which I did not like that. Also, Goku completely leaves his family and trains with this kid for years, and then he comes back, and people shit on Z Goku for dying and not coming back, but don't shit on GT Goku for legit leaving and not coming back for no reason. So yeah, he came back and stuff, and then he absorbed Boo and stuff, and you would have thought he got insanely powerful, but no, he didn't do shit in the baby arc. Yes, when he got Aiden and he was doing that power thing, which helped out, but he wasn't doing that much. And then in the just him in the 17 arc, he didn't do anything. The Shadow Dragons arc, he got one-shotted by Omega. He had no chance. I was like, wow, they completely underpowered him. So he had no point. What's the point of having the whole reincarnation of Boo into a human and stuff, and have Boo say a heartfelt goodbye and do the sacrifice for him to not do anything anyway, even in the same arc that he did that in, which I will give Boo credit. I do think they handled Boo very well in this one. Super, they completely shot on Boo. They're like, oh, we're going to use him in 2 arcs. No, he fell asleep. Stupid ass excuse. But in this one, they actually used him, which I congratulate them for that, commend them for that they used him. He was smarter in this, he was more useful, and he helped out Majub, and he had a heartfelt goodbye. I felt really sad for Mr. Satan and that. So I love how they handled Boo, which is funny because they handled Boo far better than this than Super, but they handled Vegeta like dog shit, which is like, why? So yeah, I do not like that. Also, making Goku a kid, I don't think anybody likes this idea. From the jump, it was a stupid idea. But okay, if you're gonna make him a kid, at least have him convert by the end of the first arc back to an adult. Why keep him as a kid? It was not more entertaining seeing him as a kid. The fight seemed more stupid seeing a kid fight against grown-ass beings and use the Super Saiyan forms. It just underpowered him, and he was like, oh, I can't use this, I can't use that, I can't use that. And just made the story, I guess, more intense. But in reality, they just had a plot convenience so they can depower him and have a reason for why situations are harder when he could have easily beaten them. So yeah, I do not like that. I think that was a dumb idea to keep him as a kid forever. And they even know it was dumb because they made him turn to adult as Super Saiyan 4, which made no sense. But they did that because they knew it was stupid. So if you know it's stupid, just make him turn into a fucking adult instead of having him go Super Saiyan 4 to turn into an adult. That's so stupid. I fucking hated that they made him as a kid the entire time. Why? Who fucking thought of that? And some people say, well, they want to have the younger viewers and stuff, but they already had Pan. She was already, she's a 13-year-old kid. They had a kid there. They didn't need Goku to be a fucking child. Like, that shit was just stupid. Most of the characters they misused. They ruined Goten. The Trunks was okay. Pan was annoying. Vegeta was ruined. Gohan was a no-show, but he's been a no-show since. So yeah, all these characters. Piccolo was completely ruined and thrown away like garbage. Like, they fucking treated that man like ass. So yeah, majority of GT pissed me off. I did not like it. I would say as a whole, the rating for GT I'll give would be around like, you know, a C minus to a D plus, because it was so lackluster. It was so boring. I hated watching it. I hate Super, but at least Super gives me some entertainment. This shit bored me to death. I'm like, why the fuck was this made? The best way I can describe GT is it's a weird fever dream. Like, a lot of the stuff that happens in the episodes in the show is just a fever dream. The Goku dealing with the whole health situation, going in outer space dealing with those stuff, Dr. Mew and his plans, General Rildo, the whole Shadow Dragons arc, especially the beginning of it, like going to these different villages. It felt like a fever dream. It did not feel like Dragon Ball. That's one of the biggest problems I had with this. It did not feel like Dragon Ball. It felt like a completely separate, you know, anime. If it was a separate anime, it would have probably been better. But the fact that it was tied to the Dragon Ball franchise and it did not feel like Dragon Ball pissed me off. So yeah, it didn't have the Dragon Ball feeling to it. I did not like that. I did not like that aspect of it. It didn't feel like a great successor to it. It felt like a completely different show, and it didn't make sense because Toriyama wasn't writing this, Toei was, and they fucked it up. But yeah, it did not feel like, you know, it didn't feel like Dragon Ball to me. It felt weird. It was a weird fever dream, and it felt like a lot of filler episodes. I know there's no filler in the show, but the majority of it felt like filler. I mean, the whole, you know, Goku going to the other dimension in the baby arc felt like filler. The hell of Goku going to hell felt like filler. The whole first arc felt like a goddamn filler. So the best way I can describe this is like if you were to imagine a filler from Dragon Ball, but in a fever dream. Like, that's what I would consider it as. There was some other stuff. I'm trying to think about what are the other stuff that had in this show that you know, they did a very piss poor job in. So personally, I would say GT is not a good successor to Super Dragon Ball Z, and neither is Super. Both of them are a disgrace to what Dragon Ball Z was. Dragon Ball Z was such a great show, and they ruined it. But yeah, I'm trying to think about what other stuff was in GT, because there was a couple other things that I didn't like about what they did in the, you know, in GT. It was just all around stupidity. It was just a dumbass show. It was boring. The ideas were dumb. They put fake tension, like, oh, we can't do this and that. They, like, Goku and them could have fixed their problems if they just used their powers, their super speed, their strength, their durability and stuff. But they didn't, because for whatever reason they want to make it harder, and they just look dumber. Also, they didn't give any time to breathe for each arc. Each arc had like something else happening right after. Like, give some time for peace and stuff, so you can progress. Naturally. They didn't give no natural progression. It was like it was like unnatural the way they progressed the writing. It was just felt like they were like hamming it up, and the pacing was weird because they sometimes stretched it out a lot, and then other times they made it super quick. So the pacing was pretty trash. Yeah, this show as a whole I did not like. I will never ever rewatch GT again. I rewatched it this time, but I'm never ever gonna rewatch it. I only did it to do this videos and stuff and make reviews on it. But yeah, GT is complete a big thumbs down. So is Super, but at least Super is giving us some interesting stuff, whereas GT just gave complete crap. I did not like it. Majority of the characters in GT could care less about. The only characters I really cared about was babies to some degree, and Nova Shenron. I don't even care about Sin Shenron. Those were the only characters that I actually cared about that was introduced in GT. Everybody else was ass, and even the main cast themselves were completely tarnished. But yeah, that's my review for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will be dropping out my power scaling video next, and that should be my final GT video, possibly ever, because I really don't want to talk about GT anymore. I also have a Dragon Ball GT playlist. Sorry for that, there's a car starting outside. I also have a GT playlist, which I'm going to be putting all these reviews in. Also my previous GT videos where I compared it to Super, and the power scaling video, which should be the final end of this series. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for next time.